For today's video, I thought I would demonstrate what it sounds like when I try to sing. I'll sing you happy birthday, but fair warning, I don't have much range. Now I can do this in one of two ways. I can either sing the song all the way through using my electrolarynx, or I can sing just the correct notes. For the first version, I'll sing the entire song for you. Here goes. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you, and many more. Now if you're singing with a group, you really only want to sing the correct notes. But let's face it, you're probably gonna throw the group into disarray anyway, so you're best to just get next to someone and mouth the words. No one will ever know, but if you must try and sing, here's what it might sound like. Happy birthday or it loses something without vocal cords. Now you're probably wondering about the pitch of my voice. People ask me about that. Well, now I can change the pitch on my electrolarynx. This is the male voice. This is the This is the female voice. Obviously it's a higher pitch, but unless you're standing there looking at the person and can see that she's definitely a female, you'd be hard pressed to know whether this was a female speaking or a male. And of course, I can make it really low. This is a very tall male voice. This is one I use when I want to do an impersonation of Barry White, doing an impersonation of Stephen Hawking. And lastly, here's my regular voice, more or less. I promise another embarrassing story, so here goes. I go into a Dunkin' Donuts in the morning to get my coffee. I go there every morning. They know me. They recognize my voice. They also can beat my lips, unless I order the same thing every morning. But this particular morning was a beautiful spring or summer day. I'm in a really good mood, feeling very chipper. So I walk in, see the girl I always see. I say, "Hi, how are you?" She looks at me. She looks a little surprised. She replies, "They're fine." So I know she misunderstood me. And when I say she looked surprised but not in a good way. It was more like, "Why are you asking me that?" So while she's getting the coffee, I'm mulling it over in my mind. How are you? They're fine. How are you? They're fine. I got nothing. I can't figure out what she thought I said. Finally she comes back and she starts ringing me up, and I look at her, and all of a sudden the light goes on in my head. I know what happened. When I came in, I could have said, "Hey, how are you, sunshine?" or "How are you, dearie?" Unfortunately, what I said was, "Hi, how are you, toots?" I suddenly harkened back to 1940. Well, as I said, I wasn't using my electrolarynx. I was depending on her lip-reading ability, which failed her at that point. I should admit that there are many words that look like other words. And when I came in that morning, Instead of, how are you toots? What she saw was, how are you tits? Well, if you didn't catch that, what she read was, how are your tits? Well, I was mortified when I realized that's what she thought I said, but I also didn't want to make the situation any worse. Fortunately, there was no one else at the counter at that point, so I lowered the volume on my larynx. And I very quietly said to her, I think you may have misunderstood me a few minutes ago. By any chance, did you think that I was inquiring about the general health and well-being of your mammary glands? She thought a moment and then replied, yes, I was wondering why you were asking me about my boobs. Well, I said, I really wasn't. And so, she had a good plan I did too, thankfully. Then, what happened was, the next time I came in, I said, how are you? She replied, and the girls are fine too. She continued to do that. Whenever I would say, hi, how are you? She'd say, I'm fine, and so would the girls. Well, one day, another customer heard her and said, oh, I didn't know you had kids. She looked panicked and then responded, oh, I was talking about my friends over here, pointing to a couple of girls behind the counter. So, even though people always say you can die from embarrassment, you really can't. I hope you have a good day. Be well.